Have you ever wondered if her distance is a sign of rejection or a challenge to prove your worth? Welcome to Stoic Way, where we unravel life's toughest questions with the clarity of timeless wisdom. If you've ever felt baffled or hurt when a woman pulls back, dodging your messages, scrapping plans, or leaving you guessing, this journey will flip your perspective. We're diving into the raw biological, psychological, and philosophical forces behind her actions, showing you it's not a game but an instinct carved deep within. Stay with us to reshape how you navigate relationships for good. The biological edge, why she pulls away. Picture this. Things are heating up with her, conversations flowing, chemistry sparking, and then, out of nowhere, she starts dodging you. She brushes off your calls, ignores your texts, cancels plans last minute, leaving you wondering if you're losing her entirely. It's maddening, gut-wrenching, even enough to drive any man up the wall. But what if I told you this isn't random or cruel? What if this is exactly what she's supposed to do? This isn't about playing games, it's a fusion of survival instincts, psychology, and biology, testing if you're the kind of man worth keeping around. Let's get one thing straight. Women don't act distant just for kicks. It's not about teasing your emotions or squandering your time. This behavior runs deeper, anchored in a biological drive that's been with them since the earliest days of humanity. Today's dating world might look sleek: swipe left, swipe right, meet on demand, but her mind operates on the same ancient wiring. When she hesitates, delays her replies, or sends mixed signals, it's not a petty tactic. It's her DNA screaming at her to protect herself, to only let a man into her life who proves he's truly worthy. Step back to the primal era for a second. Back then, picking the wrong partner wasn't just a bummer, it was life or death. A weak man meant hunger, unprotected children, and exposure to predators or rival tribes. A strong, patient, resourceful man. That was survival security for her and her offspring, a shield against a brutal world. That's why even in our cushy modern age, women instinctively filter out men who lack emotional stability, confidence, or the ability to lead. When she pulls away, she's asking herself a primal question: is he tough enough to handle me, or will he break like the others? Now, here's where most guys trip up. You might think the way to win her is to flood her with messages, pile on the compliments, or twist your schedule to fit hers. Wrong move. That's a losing battle. What she's after is simpler but harder to nail, evidence you won't crack when the going gets rough. And that evidence, it's not in your words, it's in your actions, or more precisely, in how you don't overreact when she puts you to the test. If she steps back and you chase harder, she senses you're emotionally shaky. If she goes quiet and you text again, asking what you did wrong, she knows you're desperate for her approval. But if you stay cool, keep your focus on your own path, and act like her absence doesn't dent your self-worth, you've just passed her biggest hurdle. Think about why women are drawn to powerful, accomplished men. It's not only about money or status, those are just the surface. It's about emotional command. A man thriving in his career, certain of his direction, who doesn't lean on anyone's validation to feel whole, that's a unicorn in today's world. He's the biological equivalent of a lion ruling the savannah. Women crave safety, and they know only a man secure in himself can provide it. If you unravel because she didn't reply to your good morning text, she's betting you'll collapse when real storms hit, and she's smart to walk away. Her aloofness is a pressure cooker, not meant to shatter you but to see if you can take the heat. Think of it like an engineer testing a bridge, pushing it to ensure it won't buckle under load. Women test men to avoid investing in something flimsy. If you can't handle her pulling back now, how will you manage the grind of a lasting relationship? Financial strain, raising kids, weathering life's chaos? That's why this instinct evolved. It's not manipulation, it's survival. But here's a deeper layer. She's not just checking your resilience, she's gauging how much you value yourself. If you hoist her onto a pedestal, treating her like the ultimate prize while forgetting you're a catch-to, she'll lose interest faster than you can blink. Deep down, women don't respect men who bow to them, they admire men who prize their own time, goals, and ambitions above all else. The moment you prioritize her over your purpose, she clocks your fragility. Weak men are disposable in her eyes. She wants a man on a mission, someone she can join in a venture bigger than herself. If your whole world orbits around making her smile, your toast shelled at you for a guide riven by a grander flame. This isn't about being cold or aloof. It's about living a life so full and vibrant that she's dying to step into it. When you're building something meaningful, thriving, growing, pushing forward, she'll pursue you, knowing you'll lift her life too. But if you're glued to your phone, waiting for her next ping, she'll tread over you and move on without a backward glance. Biology isn't just about strength, it's about value. Women are hardwired to seek the best option, and they're ruthless about it. If you don't show you're that option, they'll replace you without hesitation. Embrace her tests, let her pull away, and use it as a chance to prove to yourself, not just her, that you're unbreakable. Scarcity sparks value. In today's world, attention is cheaper than dirt. Women are bombarded daily, hundreds of messages on dating apps, Instagram DMs, even casual flirts in real life. Most come from guys with no sense of self-worth, flinging compliments and validation like it's free candy. And here's the thing, she's sick of it. Praise from random men who mean nothing to her? It's worthless because it's so easy to come by. Scarcity is what turns something ordinary into something coveted. If you want to stand out, make your attention a rare gem. Let's break it down with an analogy. If anyone could stroll into a store and snag a Rolex for $20, would it still turn heads? No way. It's the grind to get it, the rarity, that makes it a status symbol. You're the same. If you're always on tap, texting her non-stop, gushing over her, bending over backwards to meet her whims, you've turned yourself into a bargain bin item. Women don't chase what's cheap, they hunt what's elusive. But don't get it twisted. Scarcity isn't about ignoring her or faking disinterest with some shallow act. It's about crafting a life so packed with purpose, your career, your fitness, your passions, that you're naturally hard to pin down. When you're deep in your own growth, you don't have spare hours to hover by your phone, refreshing for her reply. Your attention becomes a limited commodity, and when she gets a piece of it, she holds it dear. That's why women gravitate to busy, driven men, not just because they're successful, but because their time carries weight. When a guy like that gives her a moment, it's a big deal. Most men botch this, though. They think scarcity means playing coy or ghosting her texts. That's not it. It's about giving your attention on your terms, not hers. Say she cancels plans, what do? Beg her to reschedule? Nope. You dive back into your life, unbothered, and she'll notice you're not scrambling after her. That's when she'll circle back, drawn by the challenge. Women crave validation from a man who doesn't need them to feel complete. Scarcity creates mystery, and mystery fuels attraction. If she can't figure out where she stands with you, she's hooked, thinking about you, wondering what you're up to. But if you're always available, replying in seconds, putting her above everything, she'll tune out. She wants to earn your focus, not have it dumped in her lap. The more she has to work for it, the more she treasures it. This isn't a gimmick, it's human nature at its core. When you value yourself, when you guard your time and energy like the precious resources they are, women naturally see you as higher value. And when you stop chasing, something shifts, they start chasing you. It's not about manipulation or mind games. It's about living authentically with purpose and letting her see you're not just another desperate guy in the crowd. Stay steady, protect your worth, and watch scarcity work its magic. Mastering the frame. Every interaction between a man and a woman has an unspoken rule. The one who controls the frame controls the outcome. If you think attraction is all about smooth talk or a chiseled jawline, you're missing the mark. Women don't fall for the best-looking guy in the room, they fall for the man who owns his reality. A guy who holds his frame, who doesn't let her words, actions, or moods rattle him, is the one who earns her respect, her desire, and her loyalty. Without that grip, you're just another dude scrambling for her approval, and she'll slip away every time. So what does controlling the frame mean in practice? It's straightforward but tough to master. Never hand over your power. The moment her behavior, her silence, her cancellations, her tests dictates how you feel or act, you've lost the reins. When she pulls away, flakes on plans, or throws out a chilly vibe, she's not being mean or devious. She's biologically wired to probe your strength, not your muscles, but your emotional backbone. If a delayed text sends you spiraling, she knows you're not built to handle her over the long haul. Women yearn for men who stand firm, unshaken, no matter how much chaos she stirs up. A man who masters his frame doesn't lose it when things go sideways. She bails on a date. He doesn't blow up her phone or grovel, he shrugs it off, because his world doesn't hinge on her presence. He's too busy building his life, chasing his goals, honing his craft for her to be the center of it all. Most guys crash and burn here. They think pandering, dropping everything when she snaps her fingers will lock her down. But what message does that send? That your time's cheap and you've got nothing better going on. Women don't respect men who are always free. They admire those who make them earn a spot in their orbit. When you hold the frame, the dynamic flips. You're not the one chasing her, she's chasing you. This isn't about being a jerk or brushing her off, it's about setting boundaries and sticking to them. She crosses a line. You don't argue or beg her to see your side, you calmly state your limit and enforce it. No drama. She ditches plans at the 11th hour. You don't leap to reschedule, you tell her you're tied up and you'll hit her up when you're free. This isn't a power play, it's proof you value yourself, and she'll feel that. A framekeeper's worth doesn't come from her applause. He's solid because he's in charge of his life, his ambitions, his emotions, not because she says so. That's what women crave. A man who doesn't need her to feel complete, but chooses her because she adds value to his already full existence. Operate from that place, and you're irresistible. She'll scramble to grab your attention, knowing it's not handed out lightly. But if you're constantly proving yourself to her, jumping through hoops to win her smile, you've already shown you're not worth much. Women don't stick with weakness, they might tolerate it for a bit, but they'll eventually bounce to a guy who holds his ground. That's why frame is non-negotiable. It's not just about sparking attraction, it's about commanding respect. Without respect, there's no desire. She won't stick around for a man who bends over backwards for her approval. Nail the frame, and something powerful shifts. She starts seeing you as the prize, the one she has to win over. That's where real lasting attraction ignites, not in chasing her, but in creating a space where she feels compelled to chase you. Signs she's into you. Women might seem like puzzles, but they're not as cryptic as they appear. Sure, they play hard to get, but they leave breadcrumbs if you know where to look. The problem? Most guys are too caught up in their own need for validation over analyzing every text, every pause, every tiny move to spot the signs. Take a breath, step back, and watch. If she's acting distant but still peeking at your Instagram stories, liking your posts, or hovering in your sphere, she's interested. Women don't waste energy on men they don't care about. Maybe she vanishes for a bit, then pops back with a casual, "Hey, been slammed lately, how are you holding up?" That's not just small talk. She's testing the waters, checking if you've been pining for her or living your life without a hitch. The guy who responds with calm indifference, not leaping at the chance to reconnect, wins her over. Body language tells a story too. When she's around, does she lock eyes with intensity? Lean in when you speak? Fiddle with her hair? Those are green lights, she's drawn to you. But don't confuse politeness with attraction. Women are social creatures, they can be warm without being into you. Look for patterns. If she keeps showing up, she's invested. If she's hot one minute, cold the next, she's either testing you or not that serious. Here's a subtle clue most miss. She remembers the little things you've said. Maybe it's your favorite band from a chat weeks ago, or a random story about your childhood. If she brings it up, that's not an accident. Women don't catalog details about guys they don't care about. When she's mentally clocking your quirks, she's filing you away as someone worth knowing. She's filing you away as someone worth knowing. Too many men overlook this. so focused on grabbing her attention that they miss she's already giving it in quiet ways. But here's the tough pill. Not every woman who's into you is worth your effort. Just because she's interested doesn't mean she's right for you. High-value men don't chase every spark they weigh if she's worth their time. That's where frame keeps you sharp, not desperate. Never chase ever. Chasing is the death knell of attraction. The instant you start pursuing a woman, you flip the script from the man she wants to the man she puts up with. Women don't want to be chased, they want to be guided. They'd rather earn your attention than have it served up on a platter. When you chase, you're telling her she's the prize and you're just lucky to be in the game. But men with real value don't see women as trophies, they see them as partners who have to prove they belong in their world. Attraction lives in mystery and challenge. Chase her, and you kill both, making yourself too predictable to attainable. Women don't daydream about the guy who's always there, they fantasize about the one they can't fully figure out. The one locked into his purpose, who doesn't need her but chooses her anyway. That's the man she keeps coming back to. Chasing wrecks that vibe, it makes her feel like she's already won you, and once that happens, the thrill's gone. Instead, let her step toward you. She pulls away. Don't panic, hold your ground. Keep building your life. The man who can walk away without blinking holds all the power. Women are wired for power, men who don't buckle under pressure, who don't fish for constant reassurance, who'll bounce if their standards aren't met. It's not about being distant or cruel, it's about knowing what you bring to the table. When you stop chasing, she starts wondering why you're not like the others. She thinks about you more, what you're doing, who's with you, and that's when she returns, not because she can't resist the pull. The harder you are to lock down, the more value you signal. Chasing cheapens you, standing firm makes her invest. That's the key to lasting attraction, earning her respect, not pleading for her notice. Here at Stoic Way, we've dissected why women pull away when they like you. It's not rejection, but a test of your resilience, steeped in biology, psychology, and Stoic wisdom. From owning your value to mastering your frame and letting her chase, these lessons turn confusion into strength. Drop, stay calm. Stand firm in the comments if this resonated, and tell us what's your take on navigating her tests. Hit subscribe to join our community, exploring life's deepest truths. Stay tuned for what's next, an unmissable discussion with guests Oliver and Sophia, diving even deeper into these ideas. Don't miss it.
All right, so we've got a bunch of questions from you guys about, this whole thing where women pull away even when they're, even when they seem interested. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So we're going to deep dive into an article to try to understand this. It's called Why Women Pull Away When They Like You, the Truth Revealed.
Okay.
And it's from a website called Stoic Way. I mean, it sounds kind of like a spy movie or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the truth revealed.
But it turns out there's actually some pretty interesting psychology behind this.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with evolution.
Definitely.
So are you ready to kind of decode this whole thing?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
This is something that comes up a lot in the dating world.
Yeah.
And I think understanding why it happens can be really helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So this article jumps right into this idea that women are basically hardwired to kind of put guys through a test, a strength test, I guess you could say. And it's not about like playing games or anything. It's more about those like deep down instincts that we inherited from our ancestors way back when.
Yeah, think about it. Like, imagine you're a woman back in the caveman days.
Okay.
Choosing the wrong partner back then could actually mean life or death, you know, for you and for your kids. You'd need someone who could protect you, provide food, and basically just handle any danger that came along.
Yeah, like a saber-toothed tiger or something.
Exactly.
Yikes. Okay, so you're saying that women basically developed this like filtering system to kind of figure out if a guy was strong enough and resilient.
Exactly. It's nature's way of making sure she's picking the best mate possible. But now you might be thinking, wait a minute, what does hunting mammoths have to do with dating today?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, are you saying that those cave woman instincts are still around in like the 21st century?
Well, it's not quite that literal, but those basic principles, they still apply. Think about it. Women are still drawn to guys who are confident. emotionally stable, and can handle challenges.
So instead of facing down a woolly rhino, maybe the modern-day strength test is more about how a guy reacts if she cancels a date or doesn't text back right away.
Yeah, that's a great example. Does he get all clingy and insecure? Or does he stay calm and collected? Does he freak out and start blowing up her phone?
Wow. Okay. So if a woman pulls away, it could actually be her way of seeing how I handle pressure.
It's not always a conscious thing on her part, but those instincts can definitely be at play.
Wow. I never thought of it that way. So what's the best way to handle it then?
Well, the article gives some pretty clear advice. Stay calm, don't chase after her, and focus on your own life.
But isn't that a little manipulative? Like, what if she's doing this strength test thing without even realizing it?
It's not about manipulation. It's about understanding those deeper biological drives. It's like saying, oh, it's so unfair that my stomach growls when I'm hungry, you know?
Okay, yeah.
It's just how things are.
I guess it's more about understanding the why behind her behavior instead of trying to, like, judge it or label it as right or wrong.
Exactly. And when you understand it, you can navigate those situations with a lot more confidence and self-awareness. Instead of getting all anxious and wondering why she's being distant, you can just focus on showing her your own strength and resilience.
Okay, that makes sense. So what would that look like in, like, a real-life situation?
Okay, so let's say you've been texting a woman and things are going well. But then she suddenly goes quiet for a few days.
Okay.
Instead of panicking and sending a bunch of, hey, are you there? Texts, you could just focus on your own stuff. Do things you enjoy. Maybe even post about them on social media.
So you're saying that by showing her, you're not just sitting around waiting for her to respond. I'm actually showing her that I'm confident and have my own life.
Exactly. And that can be really attractive because it shows you're not depending on her for your happiness or validation. You're already a complete and interesting person on your own.
I started to get this. So it's not about playing hard to get. It's about actually being hard to get.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's about investing in your own life and passions, so you naturally become more scarce and more attractive as a result.
Speaking of scarce, the article talks about how scarcity is tied to value. And it uses the example of a Rolex watch.
Oh, yeah.
Like a Rolex is super desirable because it's rare and hard to get.
Yeah.
There are tons of other watches out there. But a Rolex has a certain allure because it's not available to just anyone.
Exactly.
Okay, I get it. It's like if everyone has something, it's not as special anymore.
Yeah.
So how does this apply to dating? Am I supposed to start acting like I'm some kind of limited edition Rolex?
No, you don't need to start wearing a monocle and speaking a British accent. It's more about the principle of scarcity.
Okay.
Like if you're constantly available and texting back within seconds, you're kind of devaluing your time and attention.
That's an interesting way to think about it.
It's not about playing games. It's about respecting your own time and energy. If you're always dropping everything to respond to her, it can signal that you don't have much else going on in your life.
Okay, this is fascinating. So I need to create this sense of scarcity, but without being a jerk or ignoring her completely. How do I do that?
It all comes back to having a life that you're genuinely excited about.
All right, let's dive into that more. How does having a fulfilling life actually make someone more attractive?
Well, when you're passionate about things, when you have goals and interests that really light you up, it creates this natural energy and magnetism.
Okay.
You become more interesting, more engaging, and more attractive to be around.
So instead of trying to figure out how to win her over,
Yeah.
I should be focusing on winning at my own life.
Yeah, exactly. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, pursuing your passions, and building a life that you're proud of. That kind of genuine self-improvement is way more attractive than any pickup line or dating strategy.
Yeah. This is a lot to think about, and there's still more to discuss from this article. We'll be back in just a moment to continue our deep dive. Okay, so we're back, and we're continuing our deep dive into why women pull away. And, I'm really starting to see how much of this comes down to a guy's own, sense of self and purpose.
Oh, absolutely. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? If you're not fulfilled in your own life, it's tough to build a healthy relationship.
Yeah, totally. And the article calls it having a grander flame, something that really drives you and inspires you. And passion is contagious, right?
Definitely. Think about someone you know who's truly passionate about something. They just light up when they talk about it. That energy is magnetic.
Yeah, it's like they become more interesting to be around without even trying.
Exactly. And that's what we're talking about here. When you have that grander flame, whether it's your career or some creative pursuit or a cause you really care about, it just kind of spills over into every part of your life. including your relationships.
Okay, I'm with you on that. But let's be real. Sometimes it's easy to kind of fall into that trap of like putting a woman on a pedestal, especially if you're really into her.
I hear you. It's totally normal to be excited about someone you're attracted to. But when you start thinking she's like the key to your happiness, that's when you get into trouble.
You're basically giving away your power, right?
Exactly. And it creates this like unhealthy dynamic where you're constantly seeking her approval and validation instead of just being secure in your own worth.
And that can be a real turnoff.
Oh, yeah. It's like you're saying, I need you to complete me.
Yeah.
And that puts a lot of pressure on her, which can end up pushing her away.
So how do you avoid putting a woman on a pedestal? Is it just a matter of like reminding yourself not to do it?
That's part of it. But it really goes back to what we were saying before, having your own life and passions. When you're fulfilled and excited about your own journey, it naturally creates more balance in the relationship.
It's like you're two whole people coming together, not two halves trying to make a whole.
Exactly. And that's just a much healthier foundation for a relationship.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so this is really making me rethink things. Instead of focusing all my energy on trying to make her like me, I should be channeling that energy into becoming the best version of myself.
Yeah, that's it. That's the key takeaway. And honestly, that's something that will benefit you in every area of your life, not just dating.
Totally. Now, I'm curious about the specific signs that a woman might be interested, even if she seems distant.
Okay, yeah, let's get into that. The article mentions a few things to watch for, like, for example, if she's checking your social media, liking your posts, or viewing your stories. That can be a way of showing she's interested.
Ah, the classic Insta stalk.
Yeah.
So even if she's not texting or calling, if she's keeping up with me online, that's a good sign.
It can be. It's a way of staying on your radar without having to be too forward.
Okay. What about if she reaches out after like a period of silence? Like she disappears for a few days and then suddenly pops up with a text.
That's an interesting one. It could be her way of testing the waters, seeing if you're still interested and available.
And how should a guy respond in that situation?
The key is to just stay calm. Don't act all relieved or like you've been waiting for her to reach out. Just respond normally, like you haven't been sitting around thinking about her.
To like play it cool.
It's not about playing games. It's about showing that you have your own life and that her absence hasn't thrown you off balance.
Right. It's about that scarcity and value thing again.
Exactly. It shows that you're not chasing her and that she needs to put in some effort too.
Okay, that makes sense. What about body language? The article mentioned that too.
Oh yeah, body language can definitely be a clue, even if it's subconscious. If a woman's attracted to you, she might start mirroring your body language. Like if you lean in while you're talking, she might lean in too.
So if I cross my arms, she crosses hers. We're like a synchronized swimming duo.
Haha, not quite. It's usually more subtle than that. She might also make eye contact, smile, or touch her hair when she's around you. Those are all little signs that she's feeling a connection.
Okay, so I need to start paying attention to those nonverbal cues. But how do you tell the difference between like genuine interest and just being polite? I mean, some women are just naturally friendly.
That's a great point. You don't want to misinterpret politeness for attraction. That's why it's important to look for consistency. Does she consistently go out of her way to talk to you, spend time with you, or make you feel special? Those are signs that her interest goes beyond just being friendly.
So it's not just one isolated incident.
Yeah.
It's about looking for a pattern.
Exactly. And remember, paying attention to the little things can go a long way. Like if she mentions her favorite band or a book she's reading, make a mental note of it and bring it up later. It shows that you're listening and that you're interested in her.
Like you're saying, hey, I value what you have to say.
Exactly. And that can make a big difference.
This is all so insightful. I feel like I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. It's not about following a set of rules or trying to manipulate anyone. It's about understanding human psychology and approaching dating from a place of self-awareness.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
And authenticity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what makes this deep dive so fascinating. We're not just scratching the surface. We're really getting into the core principles of human behavior.
I feel like we could talk about this for hours, but we are running a little short on time. We'll be back for the final part of this deep dive after a quick break. Okay, so we're back and ready for the final part of our deep dive into why women pull away. We've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, we have.
From like evolutionary psychology to the power of scarcity. But now I want to know, how can a guy actually use all this stuff in real life? It's one thing to like understand the theory, but how do you put it into practice when you're actually dating?
That's a big question, right? Knowledge is great, but
Yeah, you got to know how to use it.
Exactly. So where do you even begin? Well, I think it all boils down to this. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Invest in your personal growth. Pursue your passions. Build a life that you're actually excited about. It sounds kind of simple, but it's super powerful.
So it all comes back to that grander flame idea, that purpose that really drives you.
Exactly. When you have that sense of purpose, that passion for life, it shows. Women are drawn to guys who are confident, driven, and excited about their own lives.
It's like you're saying, hey, look at me, I'm doing my own thing and I'm awesome at it.
Yeah, kind of like that.
And it also helps you avoid putting a woman on a pedestal because you're already happy with your own life. You don't need her to complete you or anything.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so what about that mastering the frame thing? The article talked a lot about that.
Oh yeah, that's crucial. It means not letting a woman's behavior control how you feel. It's about staying calm and in control no matter what she does.
So like having an inner compass that keeps you grounded.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
But how do you actually develop that kind of inner strength?
It takes time and effort, for sure. But you can definitely do it. It starts with being aware of your own thoughts and feelings. Like when you feel yourself getting anxious or insecure, ask yourself why you're reacting that way. What can you actually control in this situation?
The article mentions Stoic philosophy. Is that something that can help?
Oh, definitely. Stoicism is all about focusing on what you can control and accepting what you can't. It's about finding inner peace no matter what's happening around you.
So instead of stressing about why she hasn't texted back, I could use that time to like work on a project or go to the gym or meditate.
Exactly. It's about shifting your focus.
Okay, that makes sense. So how does all this relate to dating?
Well, it's about approaching dating from a place of abundance, not scarcity. See women as potential partners, not like prizes to be won.
So it's not about trying to impress them or play games.
Right.
It's about being genuine.
Exactly. Let your true self shine through. And the right woman will see you for who you are. And if she's not interested, that's okay. You're not meant for everyone.
The article also mentioned not being afraid to walk away.
Yeah, that's important. When you're secure in yourself, you don't feel the need to chase anyone if she's not feeling it. You can walk away knowing that you deserve someone who really appreciates you.
So it's about having standards.
Exactly. And that kind of self-respect is really attractive.
This has been so helpful. I feel like I have a much better understanding of why women pull away. And more importantly, how to approach dating with confidence.
It's all about personal growth. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep putting these ideas into practice.
Awesome. And for you listening out there, we hope this deep dive gave you some new insights too. Remember, focus on building a fulfilling life that you're passionate about, and let the rest fall into place. Thanks for joining us.